What's up, Paul?
Well, and I kept trying to call you back, kept going to voicemail.
Yeah, my bad. Hey, listen. I'm actually live on YouTube right now. Is there a way you think you can get Boo Boo to come on?
In about a half hour.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Hit him
So,
up.
we're going to the gym between 6:30 and 7.
Are you gonna be in the gym?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. No problem. Well, I got you here, man. So can I ask you some questions?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So a lot oh, hold on. As far as your son's concerned, like what's the next move for him? What do you guys?
Uh, we're waiting to see. They were trying to force Triple G into fighting us, and Triple G wouldn't take the fight, so, because he wanted a tune-up fight, and they said no, they ain't get paid for a tune-up fight. They had to fight us.
Yeah.
So I guess he's just going to continue to go fight Murata in January.
Okay. Is there any opponents potentially like for him out there like next like Eubank or any of the other guys?
Well, they sent, I guess, Eubanks an offer, and I guess that didn't work out.
Okay.
So I'm not sure what that situation is.
Yeah.
And that's about it. We can't get Charlo. They're still talking stupid.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
Mm-hmm. And Roddy Shields is talking stupid because there was no fight. I mean, what the hell's going on? There was no fight back then. Don't they get it?
They don't.
So, I'm about to tell them they're going to have to prove this shit because there was no signed contract, no agreement, no training camp. And if we had a fight, how do we pull out a week before a fight if there was no press coverage of the fight? No interviews, no nothing.
I don't know, man. That's just that's the narrative they want to roll with. So, that's on them.
Right, but generally, if we pulled out a week before a fight, okay, what venue were we supposed to fight? Not only that, everybody would have been doing news interviews for the fight.
Yeah.
Leading up to the fight. So how can we pull out a week before that and not done know any interviews? Right? That don't make sense.
Nah. What do you?
Well, media would have been interviewing Boo Boo the day that fight was made.
Yeah. Are you guys in the with the 168? Because I know like 160, like none of the guys want to fight you, and 168 seems to be where all the big fights are. Like, what do you guys think about going to 168? Because if you go up there, you could probably be Canelo's mandatory because you guys would be champion at 160.
Right. Now, we would go up to 168 if we're going to fight for a title. Why would we go up, give up a title, go 168, and we're in no man's land?
Yeah.
What
about Benavidez? What if we go beat up Benavidez?
Yeah, but there's no title. Why would you give him a title to fight for no title?
Yeah, I can see that.
That's the issue. At least we have some kind of control having a title. They can call for mandatories and stuff like that, which they would have to pay for.
Okay.
But if there's no mandatories, we can go up to 168 and fight who?
68.
If anybody should be, Benavidez should be pulled, who's at 68 now, should be going for a mandatory with Canelo.
Yeah.
Because he got stripped for a title, so he should be Canelo's mandatory.
What about Plant? What about fighting Plant? Like if Plant doesn't fight Canelo, what about Plant?
I mean, we're great friends. Fair enough. He used to come to all our camps.
Yeah. So no.
He used to come to all our camps. We want a fight that's going to put us way up there.
Yeah.
But he's
got a title though.
Right, but the whole thing is we will not go to 68 unless there is a title shot for us at 68. It doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
If somebody says, yeah, I will give Demetrius Andrade a mandatory, and, it's like, that there we go fighting Canelo.
Okay.
All right, but you're not going to we can make 160, and we have a title in 160.
Yeah. What about
going up in weight, we've been doing that, chasing people. So how many more times do we have to go up in weight to get fights?
I don't know. It would just be. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do to get the fights.
Right, but there's no guarantee going up in weights with what's going to happen. So we're going to give up a title. Okay, we were 54. Okay, we gave up to 54, went up to middleweight. We did middleweight, nothing happened. So what's going to happen different in 168? And we would not have a guaranteed fight.
Yeah.
Give us a guaranteed title fight.
Would you ever consider going all the way up to light heavyweight? Because
why do we have to keep? But why should we go fight out of weight class and keep going up?
To try to position yourself for the fights.
And what would be the difference?
Well,
I don't think there'd be any difference. Nobody's fighting them.
I mean, well, if they have a title and if they're guys that are linked to Canelo and they have titles, then it could make a difference.
They won't make a difference. But why do we have to do that? We're the middleweight. We will go up to 168 if there's a title on the line.
Okay. But not against Plant?
We're not going to give up a title to go up to heavy or any of that. It doesn't make any sense.
But Plant has a title, so I know you guys are cool and stuff, but you wouldn't still try to fight Plant if it came to that. Like if that was your only option, you wouldn't.
We're not calling out Plant. We know who we want to fight: Charlo, Triple G, or Canelo.
Charlo, nah. But none of those guys want to fight you guys, so you got to do something to stay proactive.
Right. So that's up to our promoter who he's going to put us with next.
I gotta get him on.
We can't play leapfrog with weights.
Yeah.
We're middleweight. When we can't make middleweight anymore, we'll go up to 168 unless it's the right fight. And I'm not talking about fighting somebody easy. I'm talking about fighting Canelo.
Yeah. Well, he needs an opponent, so maybe you guys get the Canelo fight, but I don't think it's gonna work.
Why can't we get that fight?
I think his style is all wrong for Canelo.
Okay, so now we can pick and choose what styles. We don't pick and choose who we fight. They just say, you're fighting this guy, and we say, okay.
Yeah.
We have never denied a fight.
Yeah, someone apparently said in the comments, they said that Boo Boo called out Caleb Plant at some point.
Well, I didn't hear it, but you know what? I mean, calling up Caleb is a PBC fighter. He'll be in the same position, and it won't happen.
Okay. Hopefully, you guys get a fight soon.
But he ain't calling us out. We ain't calling him out. Okay, we want the top dog, Canelo, and we want to shut Canelo's mouth because he won't shut his mouth. He just talks nonsense. So let's just make the fight. We've been chasing these guys for over 4 years.
Over 5, actually. It's been like 6.
Yeah, Triple G. I mean, I don't want to be speculating with all these other fighters. We want Triple G, Canelo, Charlo. That's what we want.
Triple G, Canelo, and Charlo. Those are the 3 fights. Yeah, man. I gotta get Charlo on here one of these days and talk to him. See why he won't fight you guys.
I mean, those are the fights that we want. With Triple G and Canelo is avoiding us, and Charlo's running his mouth.
Yeah, I was.
Why can't we get the top fights?
Yeah.
And as far as jumping weight classes, what's that going to do for us?
Well, in the case of if you guys went up to 68, there's a rule in the WBO that if you're a champion in a lower weight class and you move up to the next weight, you can become mandatory. So if Boo Boo just moved up to 168, he could become WBO mandatory for Canelo. So that would put pressure on him.
Not really. Here's the problem. He could do a mandatory in one of the other weight classes or other weight divisions.
Oh, you're talking about Canelo?
Still avoid us.
Yeah.
And you can avoid us. So that's 2 years. He could do a mandatory. Once he does a mandatory in one of the other federations.
Yeah, he could go like WBC mandatory, WBA mandatory, IBF mandatory, and kind of stall him out. I get it.
So It doesn't serve us any purpose.
Okay.
I mean, why should we have to do that when there's enough middleweights to fight?
You shouldn't. I mean, really, the fight that should be happening next is the Charlo fight. The Charlo fight is realistically the fight that should be happening next. But Charlo's on the same type of time as Canelo. But unlike Canelo,
he just shut his mouth.
Unlike Canelo though, like Charlo's not. He's not bringing money to the table like Canelo. Like I was actually in Houston for Charlo's last fight when he fought Montiel, and Boo Boo sold way more tickets than Charlo. Charlo didn't even sell out his own hometown.
I know. It's the same thing when we fought in Providence. And Providence is the smallest state in the union.
Yeah, when you guys fought in Providence, it was like how many people were there? Like 12,000, 13,000 sold out.
No, not that many.
How many was it?
It was over 8,000.
Oh, like 8,000 or 9,000. But that was the whole seating capacity though, right? That was the seating capacity for the venue.
Oh yeah, for what they opened up.
Okay. Yeah, like I remember the crowd at that fight was one of the best crowds in America.
But you know what? Well, we want to come back here, but we would hope was like they wanted us to fight Eubanks, but that didn't happen. So I guess there's only people left as Quigley or Florio. I mean, we fight top 10 fighters. We didn't just fight top 10s in the WBO. They're top 10s in the world.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know, we don't even do pick fights. They just find us an opponent, and we go. We don't pick after we do our mandatories, we don't bother with a pick fight. We fight who they say we're going to fight. We don't turn around and say, I want to fight this guy, make him our pick fight. Whatever, get us who you can.
Yeah.
You know, we don't care. The thing people forget is, Demetrius Andrade destroyed everybody in the amateur class. Where were these guys?
Yeah. I know
For the Olympic trials. You know, where were all these guys?
Well, Canelo
he destroyed everybody in the country as an amateur.
It's true.
Right. So Charles, where was he for the Olympic trials?
He wasn't there.
Exactly.
And he wasn't in the World Amateur Championships either, because I was just looking at the World Amateur Championships for when Boo Boo won in 2007 when he won the gold. Like Lomachenko fought in that tournament, and Lomachenko didn't even win a gold in that tournament. He won a silver.
Exactly. So it's like Boo dominated all through the amateurs. He's dominated through the pros, and he can't get a top fight. There's no sense to us just jumping weight classes all over the place.
Nah, I agree. Hopefully that Charlo fight can happen.
Okay, where's Munguia? Munguia's on mandatory. Where is he? He keeps sidestepping the mandatory.
He's in a fight. They're trying to make a fight with him and Rosado.
Exactly. Come on. I love Gabe. We had Gabe in camp. Nice kid. We like Gabe. And I'm glad for Gabe. You know, but, it's like, what is he doing for himself? Gabe is a hell of a fighter. I'm not going to say nothing wrong about him. But you're about mandatory, and you don't want to take your mandatory. So what he's waiting for is us to move up so he can fight for a vacant title.
Yeah.
So he should not be a mandatory in a number one spot. That's why we had to fight Liam Williams, because he sidestepped his mandatory with us.
I agree. I remember. Because I remember the first time I ever met you was when Boo Boo fought Keeler in Miami. And I asked you about that fight. And even back then, all the way back then, I think that was like January of last year, Munguia was the mandatory. It was number one.
Look, you know what? Step up. Take the belt.
Yeah.
And the same situation exists. So Munguia's sitting around waiting for us to go up in weight or something else or leave the federation so he can fight for a vacant title. They did that to Boo Boo in the 54s. As soon as we got stripped into 54s for inactivity, everybody started fighting each other.
Yeah, and then that's when Canelo fought Liam Williams at Cowboy Stadium for that title.
So there you go. I guess he didn't want to unify the 54s because we blocked him there. He didn't want to unify the middleweights. We blocked him there. So what happens? He's above the belt. And if he can turn around and say, I'm not fighting him here, you can keep your belt, because he can't get undisputed now because I heard Caleb that fight is dead.
Yeah, yeah. Canelo doesn't want to take the fight.
Dead, so therefore, if we went up to 68, he'll just give up his belt.
Probably. I mean, he told you guys to your face, you guys are never getting the fight ever.
Right.
So you got to take him at his word. Like a lot of people in my chat section right now, they're saying Boo Boo should move up to 168 because to enforce his mandatory spot. Because if you guys are WBO champion and you move up, you can become WBO mandatory. But the thing is,
fight us at 54. He wouldn't fight us at middleweight. What's the difference of 168? He will give up his belt.
Yeah, I mean, he said he would. He said you're not gonna get the fight.
Exactly. So what does he care about the belts? He can't get undisputed now because Caleb ain't fighting him. So now he has to do his mandatories or whatever he's going to do, pick fights, and whatever he's going to do, he's going to do.
They're trying to
so
say. They're trying to say that. Go ahead.
Huh?
Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Now, if we went up there and do his mandatory, all he's going to do is say is, okay, we're only going to pay you $2 million because he's in charge of the purse.
Yeah.
And then we're going to say, what's going to happen at that point?
He'll probably just move up whenever he sees fit.
No, what I'm saying is he lowballed Caleb Plant. What I heard was he's put so many restrictions. He's the only fighter I know that caps people weights, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now the the WBC they cap or the WBA they cap your weights for the next day 10 pounds.
Oh, that's that's it's IBF.
IBF.
Yeah.
Okay. Now when he was fighting other people, he put a weight restriction on him. Now how could you go up to fight 175 and you're gonna put a weight restriction on a guy at 168? So fight at 75.
Yeah, you can't.
That don't make any sense.
No.
Because he just puts every advantage he can into his contract. Now, Caleb asked for $10 million. David Jacobs got more, so why wouldn't you pay, if you wanted the belt so much, why did you pay Caleb his $10 million?
I don't know, man. Did you hear?
Now, we go up there and become his mandatory, right?
Yeah.
And then they decide, well, they're not paying us nothing to make us refuse the mandatory, then try to force a purse bid. He can opt out. He go, well, the purse bid's not enough money, so I'm not fighting. That's it. He's gone again.
Yeah. So you're saying
so basically moving up to
basically what you're saying is even if you go to 68 and you're the WBO mandatory, there's still ways he can maneuver out of it.
Exactly. You can do the other mandatories.
Yeah, you can do a WBC, WBA.
Okay. That's another year. They could offer us a certain amount of money. He could say, well, I'm going to give him $2 million, and we're not going to fight him for $2 million. Then if they force a purse bid, the purse bid might be like, okay, the purse bid is like $10 million or whatever, $20 million. The 75-25 split. So now you're going to offer us $4 or $5 million to fight. So you're going to force us not to take a fight.
Yeah. What would you say to people that like that say that you can't make any demands of Canelo? Because a lot of people were saying like, oh, you guys aren't in any position to demand or dictate anything to Canelo.
What gives them the right to say that? They're not getting in the ring. They don't fight. They don't train.
Yeah.
All right. What gives them the right to say that?
Yeah, there is no.
We're in no position. Well, look at all the other guys, Fielding and all the other guys he fought. What position were they in? None of those guys were title fighters. None of those guys went to the Olympics. What put them in the position to get those fights? He wanted a sparring partner to be a fight for him.
Yeah, most of the guys were easy fights, like Bavio Durham and Fielding and them guys.
Right. So, hey, Boo has lost a fight, big amateur career, went to the Olympics, undefeated. That's not reason enough to fight us.
No. Well, what what do you say to people that?
And nobody deserves to fight with him. What about all the people he has fought?
Yeah,
What about all the, when he was at 54, he fought blown up 47s. They weren't true 54s. They were 47s. They offered to fight too.
Yeah. What do you say to people? Because like a lot of people tell me this. Like I get into a lot of arguments, and people say, "Well, Canelo is not going to fight Boo Boo Andrade because Canelo, they say Boo Boo Andrade doesn't sell any tickets. That's their mo. That's their point. That's one of their points they say.
Canelo selling enough tickets for the both of us. So what's his point?
I don't know what their point is. I just want to get your thoughts on it.
When he fought with BJ Sanders, they held it at the fight.
The Cowboy Stadium.
Who sold more tickets? Was it Canelo or BJ Sanders?
Canelo. There were no Brits there. The Brits couldn't even travel.
So I guess that's out the window then. We're not going to sell tickets. Of course we're going to sell tickets. Everybody wants to see the fight.
Yeah.
Except if you're a Canelo fan.
Yeah. Well, like a couple of them are in my comment section, and they're saying, they're telling me all these things that Boo Boo has to do to get the fight.
And what else do we have to do to get the fight? We're 3-time world title champion.
Yeah.
What else do you have to do?
I don't know.
Then you've got saying, Charlo saying, "Oh, you want to?" After he said he'll fight Demetrius, we have to fight Montiel. Why do we have to fight Montiel? That's like us telling him he has to fight Liam Williams.
Yeah, he should go fight Liam Williams, and he should go fight Sulecki.
Mm-hmm. So why we have to get a fight with him? Why is he making every excuse in the book? Then why are they all making excuses in the book?
Because they don't truly believe in their skills. I don't think they truly believe in their skills. You know, everybody pulls out their papers and they say, "Here's my resume," but boxing doesn't. Resumes don't win fights. The skills win the fights.
Yeah, I mean, what are their resumes? I'm not putting nobody down.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, why don't you want to fight? And why is it that nobody wants to fight him? Why wouldn't Triple G take a fight with him?
Well, Triple G at this point, he's pretty much semi-retired. He doesn't want to fight anybody. Not just Boo Boo. He don't want to fight anybody.
Then why did he fight? Why did he ask for a tune-up fight before he fought? Before he goes to fight
Murata.
He's
gotten to that place in his career where he's just lazy. He got his money.
Yeah, and then the zone put their foot down, saying, "We're not paying you all that money for a tune-up fight. Go fight Andrade." Yeah. And he doesn't want to fight.
What if you guys just start fighting all the guys that Canelo already beat? So people who always start comparing, like you guys could fight Jacobs, you guys could fight those like his opponents.
Well, first of all, Jacobs is back at 68. Number one. Number two is, why are we going to fight the people that we're not looking to fight? Why can't we fight the top dogs?
There's no reason you shouldn't be able to fight the top dogs. It's just an idea.
Right. They're telling me we have to go start from the bottom up. They're not going to pay us to fight guys like that. I'm not talking about David Jacobs, but I'm just saying they're not going to pay us to fight guys that don't have big names.
Yeah. But if not,
we're the only fighter in history that can't get a fight with a top dog. Look at all the guys who did get fights with them. Tell me, compare our resume to theirs.
Yeah. But my thing is, like, if the guys at 60, if all the big names at 60 don't want to fight you, I think it might make sense to move up. If you can't get the fights at and
what's the guarantee we're going to get the fights at 168? It's the same people.
Yeah. The same people.
The guys that we fought at 54 moved up to middleweight. Even Laura, we'll fight Laura. We were all 54s together.
Yeah. Well, a lot of
middleweight together.
I don't think you avoided him, but like a lot of people tell me all the time, they say, "Oh, Boo Boo avoided Laura. He ducked Laura." Would you fight Laura now? Like if an offer came to fight Laura, would you guys fight her now?
Out a bunch of times. Go back and look at
the videos. I've seen it. I'm saying I agree with you. I'm saying like.
So how are we avoiding Laura? They never tried to be. Laura opened up his mouth one time. We answered him back, and he never said another word. Must have been told to keep his mouth shut.
Yeah.
because we're open to fight Lawler any time. I love to fight Lawler. He moved up to middleweight. Why don't he challenge us?
That's true.
And why do we have to be the ones that go out challenging everybody? Why don't somebody come up and say, I want to fight Demetrius Andrade?
The only guy I've heard call him out recently was Jason Quigley. Yeah, Quigley.
Yep, and I think Austin's pushing for the fight. And if he wants to fight, he can have the fight, provided my opponent signs on the dotted line and said, "Here's your fight."
Yeah,
we'll fight.
Quigley's not a bad fighter. Quigley's not a bad fighter either. He was in that same the same World Amateur Championships that Boo Boo won a gold in. I believe he won a medal as well. I think he won a silver or a gold himself.
Well, good for him.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm saying he's a good fighter.
Fight, we have no problem doing that fight at all. We have no problem fighting anybody.
Yeah.
But it's all the politics.
So much politics.
Why do we have to call out everybody in the world?
I mean, you really shouldn't. You shouldn't. Boxing should be about the best fighting the best. But you know, they say the thing that I hear they say commonly about Boo Boo. They say, "Oh, he's high risk, low reward." That's what they say.
Low reward. You're a title holder.
That's what I'm saying.
Where's the low reward?
It doesn't make sense to me because when I talk to Canelo fans, I always see people say, "Well, Canelo has beaten all these undefeated champions," and then I'll respond and I'll say, "Well, that's great. I'm glad he's doing that. I would like to see him fight this undefeated champion right here, Demetrius Andrade." And they say, "No, he can't fight him because he's fighting with nobody and he's very boring." You know.
Yeah, they're all jumping on Canelo's bandwagon. What Canelo says, right?
Yeah.
They're just co-signing.
They're hanging on every last word.
Look at the guys that he is for. They weren't boring.
Rocky Fielding hadn't done anything in his career before he fought Canelo. He still hasn't done anything in his career, really. He got knocked out. He fought Callum Smith, the same Callum Smith that fought Canelo, and Callum Smith knocked out Rocky Fielding in one round.
Exactly. But wait a minute. They had a better resume?
Mm-hmm.
They had a bigger fan base?
That's what they say. Okay. These are the narratives.
Yeah, Demetrius is the most avoided fighter on the planet.
He is. Unfortunately, he is. And the thing is, too, like I was thinking about it more like with the whole 168 thing. The same people that run the careers of the fighters that are ducking Demetrius Andrade, they run the careers of the guys at 68 as well. You know,
exactly.
Yeah, Al Heyman and them. You know, I don't think he's not gonna let Boo Boo fight Benavidez fight Boo Boo unless Boo Boo signs a contract at PBC. And you guys can't sign PBC because you're still under contract with the Matchroom, right? In the zone.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what it is.
Well, I don't know what to say.
I don't know, man. But we're gonna keep fighting the good fight. We're gonna get this fight eventually.
Hey, we just want a top dog. That's all we want. But begging for a top dog. How many people beg for top dogs?
Very few.
Exactly. We said we'll fight any of the top dogs.
Yeah. Okay.
Right now, if I call the WBO and said, "Look, give us our mandatory, give us Munguia," Munguia won't take the fight.
And that's what you said. You told me a year ago. You said it doesn't matter if the guy's mandatory or not. You can't make these fighters get in the ring if they don't want to. If Golden Boy Promotions and Oscar De La Hoya, if they have a certain direction they want to take Munguia's career, it doesn't matter if you're the mandatory, and it doesn't matter if he's number one, and it doesn't matter if you're champion. They're gonna do what they want to do.
Exactly. They're just gonna wait for a vacant title.
Yeah.